Alright, so here we are at the powwow up in Prescott. Let's see what we have in store, man. I am excited about this one. Be quiet, Becky. Alright, so we are on our way back from Prescott. Had a great time up there. We went and saw Ticonderoga. Sorry guys, we focused too much on the Revolutionary War. We went out to Tunzigat. We went out to Montezuma's Castle. Went out and saw a beautiful, beautiful powwow. Got some beautiful dancing. I may upload this today just so you guys know that I did go to the powwow. I will have footage of it for Monday. And it was beautiful. Some of the most beautiful dancing I've seen in a long time. Truly a respectable culture. We need to get out and appreciate this culture more. One gentleman I met with over the weekend said that we should actually replace the recorder with a Native American flute.
Why not do the indigenous original instrument of this country, which is easier to play than the recorder?
Oh wow.
You know?
What's that one called?
It's a Native American flute.
Native American flute, okay.
Very simple.
I play too. So.
Yeah, thousands of years before the white man came, they were playing these. 80% of the tribes too.
Wow, 80%.
Yeah.
I think it's a pretty good idea. They're a little pricey, but I think you can get them mass-produced for pretty cheap. But I think it would be beneficial to actually shift from the recorder to the Native American flute, being as it was here before any kind of European settlement. We should be switching back to things that are more culturally relevant to our nation. Whether you may be white, whether you may be black, brown, we have to embrace our culture as Americans as opposed to our racial identities, because really 100,000 years ago we all emerged from Africa. That's how it goes. Welcome to a new version of Revisiting History. I'm going to try and take a deeper look into a lot of these subjects that we're seeing. One of the subjects we're talking about today is the Gourd Dance, which we actually saw in public. This specific display is going to be particularly interesting due to its history, but
I want to dive into something a little bit different before that, because I think it's pretty important. Now, I got this from a source, Native American Net, Roots.net. It's a forum. Generally speaking, you don't trust forums as a historian, but this is just general factual information. I don't think much else needs to be said on these topics other than they're pretty factual. So outlawing American Indian religions is the actual name of the topic, and it was posted in 2010. So fairly new article. It says this freedom has been denied to American Indians based on the notion that they're not citizens. This religious freedom, and it says this period of time is basically from around 1870 to 1934. So we're saying about 64 years. We're saying you can't practice anything at all. Now, in 1883, the Secretary of the Interior reported that the heathen practices, that the Commissioner of Indian Affairs compel the discontinuance of dances and feasts. These dances are religious in nature. And then they often called medicine men imposters, and they called for them to abandon this deception and discontinue their practices. Again, another radical infringement on religious liberty. Then we see even more of a development of these laws in 1884. It says the United States law outlawed pagan ceremonies in 1884. Indians who were found guilty of participating in these traditional religious ceremonies were to be imprisoned for 30 days. 30-day imprisonment's a pretty big deal. In 1892, Congress strengthened the law, performed religious dances, and those involved in religious ceremonies were to be imprisoned. So even those involved in the ceremonies, say the people who helped establish this stuff would be then taken and put in jail. Now the next point's pretty significant. Now the Bureau of Indian Affairs is pretty rough, and I have a video I'm going to dub in about the Heard Museum. This video is pretty disturbing. The way that these Native Americans were treated, the way that they cut their hair. They were forced to cut their hair to de-Indianize them in a process that was pretty dehumanizing, I would say. It says Hopi men traditionally grew their hair long as a symbol of the falling rain for which they prayed. So again, you see the sacrilege in the actual processes that they're being demanded of them. And again, their rights wouldn't even be established until 1970, really fully established. So this shows the process of America trying to obtain its ideals while having difficulties trying to balance those ideals out with the reality of our nature. Now the next topic I want to talk about is the Gourd Dance, and that's the dance we saw today. That was a pretty interesting dance, and it was kind of a little bit different than what I was expecting, but there's a reason for that. It says, the Gourd Dance is a Kiowa story recounts the tale of a young man who had been separated from the rest of the tribe. Hungry and dehydrated after many days of travel, the young man approached a hill and heard an unusual kind of singing coming from the other side. A red wolf singing and dancing on its hind legs. The howl at the end of each dance song is a tribute to the red wolf. Now, not so much on the first song, but on the second song you can definitely hear this howl, this tribute within the powwow that we observed. One of the things I definitely need to do is go to more of these. I grew up very close to the culture, but wasn't as involved as I should have been. Recently, I've been considering entering into Native American law and trying to see what I can do there. But yeah, I digress. It says the Gourd Dance originated with the Kiowa tribe that is a man's dance. Women participate by dancing in a place behind their male counterparts on the outside perimeter formed by the men. So it's a circular dance. The females usually wear some sort of shawl on the outer perimeter of the dance. It says the Kiowa consider their dance as it was given to them by the Red Wolf as sacred and has spread to many other tribes and societies. Some Gourd societies do not distinguish race as a criterion, and even non-Indians can be inducted into the Gourd society. So I've seen many videos where you've actually seen what appears to be Caucasian people. Of course, I don't want to be judgmental and just say, oh, they're Caucasian, but people who appear as Caucasian. And then the dance is less energetic, less physically demanding, and the most of the powwow less demanding than most of the powwow dances. Some of the Gourd dances that are held go on in the afternoon. That way they wait until it cools off. So The one we saw was early in the evening, so the temperature was pretty hot, particularly for Prescott. That's probably why we saw the Gourd Dance kind of get pushed back, and then we also saw it get lengthened out a bit. But it was truly a pleasure to be there and to see the culture and just to be part of it for that moment. And it's a special thing. But again, I digress. The dance is less energetic and less physically demanding, of course, than most power dances. Of course, you have some of the older gentlemen and stuff, and the children that also work together and collaborate to kind of scaffold this dancing. It's a really interesting event. And then from the regalia section, it says a metal rattle to accompany the drum beat and the feathered fan are usually held in the opposite hands. You can kind of see it right here. I'll try and put a photo, but they do it at the same time. You've seen the video, so I don't need to go much further into that. But that's the history of the actual dance, the Gourd Dance, and the actual origin legend from the Kiowa tribe. Like I said, make sure to like and comment, subscribe. If you have anything to add to this, feel free. This is an open forum, and I like discussion. So get out there and revisit history.